Well, we are back with Inside NARC and our second episode of this 2024 season. Joining me, Jim Allen, the general manager of the NARC 410 Sprint Car Series. And Jim, a great weekend of racing, lots of cars showing up at Silver Dollar Speedway last weekend. And here we go to another quarter-mile racetrack, Merced Speedway. But it's been some time since the series been there, and it's also been some time since they've last had a 410 race at the track.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we got the first one in the books. As everybody knows, it was a wild one. It was one of those races that happens like once every 2 or 3 years, and there's a few people got some equipment beat up. But I think everybody's hard at work this week, so we can return to Merced. Last time we were there was for a Speed Week show. I think Justyn Sanders won that one. And if anybody has not been to Merced, it is interesting. I mean, if you know quarter-mile tracks, you got Chico, and then you got Placerville. This one here is, I don't know, maybe a hybrid of both. It's almost like a slot car set. Fast time's going to be like 10-1 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's just fun, and I think we're going to have a great weekend, and 410s will roar in the Central Valley.
And that's a great, accurate description of like that Placerville type banking, with the exception there's no banks going up to the pit area or anything. You go off the top. It's not one of those dangerous situations. It's you don't have something that you can kind of cushion you to get you back on the racetrack if you miss the cushion.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's high banked. It's probably even more high banked. It's probably as wide as Chico, but more high banked. And like I said, I every time I look at it, every time I watch a race there, like I said, it's a slot car set, and you just got the little lever in your hand, and you're just pulling it back as hard as it would go, and the cars just zip around that place. So, like I said, always guaranteed to be a good show there. And like I said, we don't, we typically don't go there very often. I think we'll probably get that fixed in years to come, but highly recommend going to Merced to watch this race.
And something that stands out for Merced, it's a place that's near and dear to my heart. I've only been there for one sprint car race there ever, and that was last year. But the grandstands, there's great seating there. I'd have to say it's one of those tracks where there's not a bad seat in the house. I do know this, though, just being up and having to be in the tower and announcing there so much over the years. It's a hike to get up there, so if you're looking for a workout, to get some cardio going on the weekend, just do that a couple times, run some stadiums, and you'll be good.
Yeah, they got a massive grandstand there. I think the main grandstand holds pretty close to 5,000 people there. Oh, yeah, it's strange you should mention that, because I remember last time I had to bring the microphone up to the box, and by the time I got up there, I'm like, I'm breathing, I'm out of breath. I'm
second wind, yeah.
Yeah, I'm second wind big time. It's like, boy, that's, then I kind of look down and go, yeah, well, that was a pretty good workout. But yeah, it's a great place to watch a race. It's all panning out right in front of you. It's another, I don't know, I say like a stadium course, sort of like a Bristol, where just everything is panned out right directly below you, and it's going to be fun. And I think a lot of teams are looking to get back on track, and the teams that did good last week at Chico are looking to continue on their success.
And for you, this isn't a question of bias or anything, but because there were some notable storylines from last week. Who for you did you think was kind of that surprise, I guess, of the weekend? I guess for me it was Caeden Steele in the 121 of just pushing out a great finishing P3.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And considering that mid-race he was in an accident, there was a pileup of like 4 cars down there in turn 3 and 4. And, there wasn't, there was some cars more damaged than others, but, you get a lot of drivers that get in a situation like that. They get restarted in the back, and I don't know, you can say, you can, I don't say write them off, but, they kind of nurse their equipment because they're afraid something's going to break. And sure enough, we're getting to the end of this race, and there's Caeden Steele's in the, he's top 6, and then top 5, and then I think he got around Dylan Bloomfield here on the last lap and finished 3rd, and I was like, wow, kind of surprising because, like I said, I was down there and turned three and four, helping cars get pulled apart. And for a young career, totally impressed. So I think obviously he was happy. I think he was a little bit surprised too. But I guarantee one thing: I'm sure he loves that feeling and wants to see if he can move up a couple more spots from that.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him when I dial him up, but I think he's still got enough 410 starts, like with an actual 410 in between the rails, that he's still on one hand when it comes to counts. I mean, definitely less than 410 career starts.
Right, exactly, and he has a good team behind him. And I remember when I was interviewing him, he says, "I gotta," I said, "Who do you need to thank?" And he just points out, says, all those people standing in front of me. And, normally there's photographers and things. I look out there and, yep, he had his entire crew. They were all there, and, friends and family. And everybody knows sprint car racing. It's not a one-man show. You need a great support network. And, Kaeden, I think, has a very bright future ahead of him. And, he's the current front runner for NARC Rookie of the Year. And then, you kind of almost have to say something about Gage Garcia. I think he finished 10th, and that was after he had a wild flip earlier on in the program and got tangled up in a couple shows. So, man, when we talked last week, we were talking about a lot of these young guys coming up, and it's nice to see. We got two of them in the top 10 already, and a couple of them are still. Still cutting their teeth and trying to get out of the starting blocks. But the future is looking great for sprint car racing in California.
Well, and we can't not discuss Merced Speedway without talking about Doug Lockwood, the promoter there. And even though they're heavy on a stock car schedule, Doug is no stranger when it comes to open wheel stuff, with his tenure with dealing with USAC and the World of Outlaws and other things like that. And he's great when it comes to track preparation because he knows what the racers want and what the fans want. And that's a really good quality.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Glad you brought that up too. And, he's done a lot of improvements at the racetrack, and yeah, he's that working man's promoter. He knows, you get some places you go to and, the track needs some work, and, they end up cutting up the entire track. And Doug will be the guy who goes, no, it's only turn 1 and 2. I'm only going to work, down turn 1 and 2 in the, the lower part of the track. And, he knows that, another one of those, I call them the doctors of dirt, or, got a PhD in dirtology. And so, yeah, Doug's a great guy. And, in stock car country, but yeah, he knows his sprint cars. He knows exactly what we want. And there's no doubt whatsoever that we're going to have a good racy track.
Well, for folks that are thinking what they want to do this weekend, Merced Speedway, simple as that. It's the place to be. 410's coming back there, and, it's going to be a great race. We had a great race to start the year. No doubt the second installment will be really good.
Totally agree with you 100%. So, hey, we'll see you guys there.
Well, on the phone with Merced Speedway's Doug Lockwood. Doug, this Saturday, big event for Merced Speedway. NARC 410 Sprint Car Series headed back. It's been a few years. No doubt the fan base, the community in the Merced area is super excited, as well as yourself.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to have 410 wing sprint cars, and it's been a couple of years since we've had them, and we look forward to having them on Saturday.
I've seen 360s there. I've never seen 410s there, but I would imagine they rip around pretty good and are definitely breathtaking.
They are. We're the World of Outlaws. I think 2 years ago now, and it's just breathtaking, really. I mean, how fast they go around that little joint and move. 360s get around there pretty good until you get the 410s, and they rip around that place.
And as far as like you on the track prep side of things, is it kind of a challenge with the 410s just with the amount of power that they generate, or is it pretty much similar the way you would prep a 360 track?
We prep the track the same, really, no matter what we have. the biggest thing is obviously just depending on weather and temperature and stuff. I try to schedule the sprint car stuff in the early spring and late fall, just because it's a little bit cooler weather and helps with the racetrack in that sense.
And for people that are wanting to go, want to get tickets, or want to find out more information, what's the best resource on the Merced Speedway side of things?
MercedSpeedway.net is our website. Tickets are available only at the gate. Opens at 5 o'clock. Adults 18 and up at $25. Juniors 11 to 17 at $10. Kids 6 to 10 at 5. And 5 and under is free. We do happy hour until 7 o'clock, and racing will kick off at 7 p.m.
All right. There you heard about it. If you're in the Merced area, or if you're not doing anything this weekend, head to Merced as NARC 410 Sprint Car Series heads back to the Central Valley Quarter Mile. Cole Macedo, Merced Speedway next up for the NARC 410 Series. It's a place you got a lot of laps at. You've had some success there, including last year. But with a 410, I know getting a win there, that'd be good for you in this race team.
Yeah, for sure. Beginning of the year here, so some good momentum is always good for any race team. And I'm super excited to get there. I know Doug Lockwood does a lot of hard work and puts in a lot of effort to make that place to what it is today. We had a lot of success there last year. Had a lot of fast race cars anyways. I screwed it up a couple times, but I think that Drew Warner will give me a good race car, and if I do my job, I think we should come out with a good finish.
Well, Bud, Kaeding, the classic throwback 29 in action last week in Silver Dollar Speedway. You guys came away with a fifth place finish in round number 1 of the season with the NARC 410 Series. How did you feel, you guys were at with your car and how things went?
Felt pretty good. I felt like we had decent speed all weekend. I think we got up there 5th or 6th, just kind of got under Neto there, just past halfway in the feature, and got run into from the back and got into a pretty big melee and whatever, fought some issues after that, just some bent up and broken stuff on the car. And then, obviously we were all dealing with the same track, with the conditions being as treacherous as they were, and rough and choppy and slick and all of the above. But for the most part, it was, I think, a good weekend. Both nights, I think we had decent results, and like I said, we had decent speed. So, looking forward to the upcoming weekend here at Merced. It's a track that we've been decent at, but again, it's one of them ones we've also sucked at. So hopefully we can be on the brighter side of everything.
And that's a place that, limited amount of sprint car races. Is it comparable to like a Silver Dollar Speedway or a Chico, or is it just the fact that they're quarter miles, that's the only part where they compare to?
No, it's not even close to the same place at all, really. And I wouldn't even say that they're, you don't go with the same gear or nothing. It's quite a bit smaller than Chico. But it's kind of a place in its own. If I had to compare it to anything, it'd be more like Placerville with the banking and as tight and short as it is. But we don't get to go there too often. So again, just kind of looking forward to getting back out there. Hopefully, the weather cooperates with us for the weekend.
Well, Chase Johnson, you definitely painted some broad strokes of some speed last weekend in the Mini Gold Cup. I know you guys didn't get the result that you wanted, but I guess if there's some silver lining to everything, you guys had a very fast race car and led a ton of laps in Chico.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it very much. We work really hard during the off season and continue to work really hard to make sure we bring the fastest race car we can to the racetrack. And so Silver Dollar was good to have those good 2 strong nights. I feel like we were fastest cars both nights and actually able to lead laps in the A-mains on both nights. So that itself is a great accomplishment for rolling out a new car. You don't really know what hiccups you're going to have or whatnot, but we've got a really, really fast race car. And I'm really excited for the rest of the year. I've never had my program this dialed in with this fast of a race car. So like I said, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year. Ivan Warden's been I got to give Ivan Warden a big credit to that. He's put in a lot of hours at the shop during the off season, making sure we've got race cars that are capable to win and run up front. And, working with him last year, I feel like, and then in the off season with our ideas, we've just been really building something great. So really looking forward to the rest of the season, and that's including Merced this weekend. And Merced is such a cool track. It's a great track. It's always entertaining. I love it as a driver. It's, even for how small it is, it's pretty physical. I feel like we carry a lot of G-forces there compared to most of the other tracks we go to. So, I love Merced. Merced's been great to me in the past. The fans are great there. They're going to absolutely go nuts over the Wing 410s being there. I know they love that. I know they love having their wing cars there. They wish they were there more often. So having NARC there, especially this early in the year, is like the perfect thing for Merced, and have their season get kicked off as well. So looking forward to getting there and carrying on our speed that we had in Silver Dollar. It's going to be a good time, and hopefully we got a great car count. Hopefully the weather stays good, and lots of fans in the stands.
Well, Justyn Cox in the Bates Hamilton Racing number 42X last Saturday Mini Gold Cup, you guys had a pretty fast race car and led some of the early laps of that race, and it was definitely an interesting race. Did you yourself as the driver feel like you were pretty confident, like that things were going pretty good for you guys as far as speed and things clicking together?
Yeah, the speed side of things, definitely confident. I want to say confident in the going into the main event. It's just kind of one of those tracks that, kind of showed it's the unknown, what could happen. So, unfortunately I made a mistake there and blew it right off the track, trying probably too hard at the beginning, and then gave myself a little owie there and hurt a couple ribs pretty good. And so I just hung on for the rest of the night there. But the car had a lot more speed than probably the finish. And if the driver cleans it up, I think we're going to be really good. One thing we want to really focus on this year is trying to qualify a little bit better and just put ourselves in position night in, night out. So step one's already complete there, is qualifying good, and winning a dash is always great too. So moving to Merced, the goal is still clear to try and do it again. We've been kind of inconsistent on being quick time or up front every single night. So that's a goal right now, and I'm looking forward to it.
How do you rate Merced as far as fitting your driving style or the combination with the 42X team? Do you think it's a good one, or is it kind of like a mystery box sometimes?
It's still a very big mystery box. We've only ran Merced once together, and that was at the beginning of last year. Myself at Merced, I only have ran there a handful of times. Almost picked off a SCCT show at the inception of the new Merced track a few years ago. So it depends. I enjoy it. I think I just haven't ran a lot, and it's definitely a whole new ball game. Throwing a 410 in there, Merced is a bull ring, and you're just flying. So we'll see what happens. I know there's a little bit of rain in the forecast, so it could make the track a little tricky and fast, and it should be good.
Dominic Gorden, points race number 2 for the NARC 410 Sprint Car Series, Merced Speedway coming up. And for you guys, kind of a home game a little bit in first race in the Central Valley of the 2024 schedule.
Yeah, it's always nice to race near home. Don't have to leave as early. We can load a little bit later, be a little bit more relaxed. Merced's a fun track too. High banks, really fast. Never ran it in a 410, so this will be a first.
And you've been there a couple times in a 360. I mean, the times I've seen you seem pretty comfortable with it.
We've been comfortable there. We've never been very fast, but hopefully we could prove that wrong this weekend.
Well, one race down, how are you feeling about things for 2024?
I'm trying to keep my confidence up. First 2 nights did not go the way we wanted them to. Torque tube failures, brake failures, forgetting to put a Zeus button in the mag box so it falls down every time I hit a bump and turns the switch off. Just little things, but got to push through it. Merced's this weekend.
No
We'll
doubt.
be ready.
Yeah, just get the gremlins out, right off the bat. So it's all downhill from here, right?
Right. Hate to have these gremlins so early in the year, but probably better to get them out of the way early, right?
Well, Caeden Steele returning to action in the 121 entry. Merced Speedway up next for the next round for the NARC 410 Sprint Car Series. Gotta feel pretty excited. You guys had a really brilliant run last Saturday night, finishing P3, getting your first career NARC podium, grinding out a good result, and then hoping to continue that momentum into Merced.
Yeah, we got caught in that pile up, and then the track was pretty rough, so I figured we'd just try to stay alive and see how far we could get forward, and it ended up pretty good.
Really good battle with you and Dylan Bloomfield came down to the very end, and really kind of that no give up attitude, especially as you said, getting caught up in an early wreck that can kind of deject you and make you feel defeated, but you were able to just keep sort of kind of a positive attitude about it.
Yeah, towards the end, I was people just kept dragging out in front of me. We started moving up pretty much just to attrition, but I think I only passed like 4 cars the whole race. And there at the end, Dylan Bloomfield, I started diving down on the restarts, and he kept going around the top, so I kind of got under him in 1 and 2 and broke his momentum, and then was able to slide him in 3 and 4 and kind of just held my line for, I think it was that one more lap after that.
Well, and then Merced coming up. It's a quarter mile as well. How do you feel about that racetrack and where it sort of fits in your driving style?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting track. It's weird because the straightaways are kind of flat, and then it goes into super high banking in the corners. And it's a pretty fun track to drive on. I'm not sure if it suits my driving style the best, but it's a fun track to drive on for sure.
Shane Golobic ready to tackle Merced Speedway for round number 2 of the NARC 410 Sprint Car Series 65th anniversary season. And Shane, a podium finish last weekend for you guys. You've got to feel pretty good that you were able to have some good speed in the Matt Wood Racing 17W in the first round of the campaign.
Yeah, we were happy with the speed. We raced Friday night at Chico and had no speed. So then when the NARC boys came to town, we wanted to see if we could find some, and we were able to with our NOS Energy Drink 17W. We were able to get that thing going a little bit better Saturday. The track was a little bit smoother than it was Friday night, but still pretty rough and choppy, which isn't necessarily my favorite, racing surface or my cup of tea, I guess. But it was good to kind of start middle to the back and be able to work our way forward and have a shot to compete for a win, but just didn't quite get it done. But happy to at least find some speed on the second night, and looking forward to trying to find some more this coming weekend in Merced.
And how do you rank Merced as far as tracks go for you? Is it a place where it's hit or miss, or do you feel pretty comfortable? Because I know that you've got a bit of experience in a lot of different cars there.
Yeah, I've run Merced a good handful of times now, but I kind of feel like a lot of my laps have been in a midget there. I've run some 360 races and maybe 1 or 2 410 races, at least on the new configuration. So yeah, I've got laps, but not a ton. I don't really know how our 410 program goes there. Like, we haven't run it there a whole lot. Once with the Outlaws, I think, and maybe once with NARC before. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. It's a really cool racetrack. I do love going there. I think it benefits from being early or late in the year, weather-wise, for that track. I think the cooler temperatures help keep moisture in it, especially with the wing cars. So I think with some of the rain, maybe this week, if we do get to race, I think the track will have some moisture in it, and I think it'll be a good race. It is a fun racetrack to race on, so I'm looking forward to it for sure. And that's, like I said, I just hope the weather holds off enough to where we can get the show in.
We got the driver of the Dave and Debbie Vertulo 83V, Dylan Bloomfield. Last weekend, noble effort, top 5 finish for you guys to start the season off with the NARC 410 series. Did you feel pretty good with all things given?
Yeah, it was a really good weekend. I think me and Heavy D worked together and the whole team. Ed and Rich put in a lot of hard work all night, and I think it paid off at the end. I mean, it's definitely one of the roughest racetracks I've ever ran, and but it was a lot of fun. We're just trying to stay out of the wrecks. Next thing you know, sitting third with like 3 to go, and just made a stupid little mistake on the restart, and it gave a podium finish away. And unfortunately, ended up fourth with no interview on podium, but I think it was still a good night, and we definitely had a lot of positives to take away from that night. And yeah.
Well, in Merced coming up, it's a track. They don't run sprint cars, wing sprint cars a lot. And I'm just trying to think. I think you've been there a little bit, but not a ton.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times in the 360. I've never been there in a 410 before. So I've been there to watch when the NARC or King of the West was running there. I want to say maybe in 2021 or 2022. And they were going pretty fast, but the track was super blown off and slick. So, I mean, not super fast, but it was rubbered up in qualifying. So, I'm hoping we can get it in this weekend, even though the weather's not looking too good. But every time I've been to Merced in the 360, it's always been a pretty fun place to run, really high banked and fast. So, when you get going around the top, you can throw some big sliders and have some good racing.
Well, Jarrett Soares, last weekend, your first time in a while being with the NARC 410 Sprint Car Series. And how are you feeling about things with the 12 car?
No, I felt pretty good. We anticipated running into a little bit of gremlins, start of the race, start of the year, usually when you find those things out. So, heat race, I felt like we qualified pretty well. Felt like I was where I needed to be. Definitely know where I need to improve. But man, I had a blast there. Couple racing deals, but ready to just get on to the next one.
Well, Merced coming up, it's a wild card track. Not a lot of wing sprint car racing there. Any experience for you in your racing career at that facility?
Yeah, we've been there with the midget and the USAC 360, and as well as the spec sprint. So got a couple laps around there, a couple main events around there. I'm thrilled to get around there with the wing car, though. That place seems like a blast. This seems like a fast little bull ring, and I'm excited to get there and see what a 410 around there feels like.
Well, Nick Parker, 1 weekend in the books already for the 65th anniversary for the NARC 410 Sprint Car Series. Hometown defense for you at Silver Dollar Speedway at the Mini Gold Cup. How did you feel the weekend went for you guys in the 15 team?
We started out not too great with qualifying, but backed it up with decent heat races and made each night. So that was a plus for us. And being a home game, it's nothing like being 2 minutes from the track and going to the car wash and you're already at the shop at 11:30. But no, other than that, it was a fairly good week. We didn't tear anything up, unlike some others, unfortunate. And looking forward to this week. Get back after it at Merced. So,
and I know that you've been to Merced before. How do you rate the track? Does it fit your driving style, or is it a deal where you're really having to just kind of figure things out?
Merced's pretty straightforward. High banked. I believe it's a quarter mile. Doesn't take a ton of talent. I just feel like the track's very flowy. The only problem that I have there is just getting into the corner. The transitions from the straightaway to the corners is a great deal. So it upsets the car a little bit, but no, I've had a few goes there and we seem to do very well. So looking forward to get back there with 410. So,
well, Michael Ing, number 21 car out of Chico, going to be making the trip to Merced Speedway for Saturday night. Michael, Merced on the card, and what's the history with you in that place over the last few years?
I've only been there twice, and both times have been in the middle of the season where we're struggling with the car
immensely, so I've yet to have a real good time there. But I think it's self-inflicted. I think it has nothing to do with the track. So I'm hoping that we've learned some lessons since we've been there last, and we can prove that we don't suck that bad.
Well, in 2024, race at Silver Dollar Speedway, how would you go as far as measuring things so far after your performance on night one?
Well, after night one, I would say anything is better than what we did. We really struggled with the car last Friday night, qualified terribly, and really didn't figure out the track until the main. And then everybody was having issues, so it wasn't something unique, but we were considerably worse off than the rest of the field. And then Saturday, pretty much the same deal. We made a bunch of adjustments, and it was almost a worse performance Saturday for qualifying. Just survived through the heat, and then first lap of the B main, I lost power steering. So that's what I was doing all day today, was getting that whole system flushed out and replaced, and getting all the metal out of there.
Well, hopefully that's the worst luck. It's out of the system, and then here on forward, it's nothing but good times.
You and me both. That'd be nice.
This episode is a production of Highside Racing Promotions. Be sure to like the YouTube as well as Facebook page, and like these videos. The more likes and the more attention it gets, and we would like to get as much information out to the racing community. Whenever or wherever you're watching these episodes, we hope that you enjoyed them